Hello and welcome back to ntTV Sports Zone, where we cover the hottest sports topics right here. I'm Whitley Pleasant, and here with me today is Tori Mosley and Anthony Pekarski. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty
Good. I really want to jump right into this first topic because it's a good one. The NFL is moving to London. What does this mean for the future of the NFL?
Well, from what I've been hearing over the last week or so, they want to do a 5-game series next year. But from what I was reading last night, the NFL kind of squashed that. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do go through with it. The NFL is, I guess you can say, unexpected. But I think the idea of an expansion team in London itself, I think it's a bad idea, or perhaps even moving a team over there is a bad idea. What they have going now is going great. They're making money over there. The Wembley Stadium, it holds about 80,000 people. And they're also averaging about 82,000 people going to these games overseas. I mean, I know it's only London people over there and UK people. I have a stat, only 2% of Americans are actually attending these games over there, which is good. That's what they want.
But it's going to be a big economic boost for them.
Sure.
$165 million for Europe?
Sure.
So, what about you, Mosley?
I mean, that's actually why I kind of think the opposite of that. I think the NFL, with their image being kind of tarnished the last few years, with like Michael Vick with the dog situation, Richie Incognito with the bullying situation, Ray Rice and AP in the last summer, and this fall, like, you know, everyone's kind of like looking at America, looking at the NFL, like, you know, what are these guys doing? They're a bunch of rock stars living a crazy life, obviously. You know, Jerry Jones the other week was shown with 2 girls in a hotel on TMZ or something. Like, they need this to distract us. Like, they're trying to get as far away. They're trying to go to England with this.
But do you remember, I don't know if you do, back in the mid-'90s to the mid-2000s, they had a thing called NFL Europe. And that thing folded pretty quick. I mean, not quick, but it folded. They had 15 straight years of a nonprofit.
Do you guys think it's going to be worth it going over there?
To me, I think it will be worth it, only because our image is so bad right now, their image is so bad right now, and the 2 rumored teams that I looked up and saw were Buffalo and Jacksonville. Buffalo just changed their ownership, so they're kind of thinking about branching off, thinking about new ideas. Jacksonville's the worst team in the league. They're thinking, you know, what can we do to get concessions up? So, you know, I mean, honestly, with Buffalo and Jacksonville, like, say one of those teams go away, are we really missing out? I mean, you said 80,000 was in Wembley. Imagine if that was a consistent thing, like they knew that was their team. Like, people in London would be going there. What
about a possible Super Bowl in London?
Yeah, we talked about that. I think that'd be a great idea.
Really?
I know it wouldn't be in America, and a lot of people wouldn't probably go. But a Super Bowl in London, that sounds business-wise a great idea.
Business-wise, with the NFL, come on now. That's
from the NFL's perspective, I'm looking at it. That's what I'm looking at. I think it'd be a great idea.
The Super Bowl is America's thing. Let it stay here.
True.
I mean, let it stay at least in North America.
And
maybe
the fan base,
I think maybe we should at least have a Pro
great.
Bowl there. Maybe a Pro Bowl, maybe a
Pro
couple
Bowl?
preseason games.
Yeah, like they do for Hawaii and everything.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like to see the Pro Bowl maybe go from Hawaii to London, and then maybe they're from the Super Bowl. Maybe not straight to the Super Bowl.
And then there's the time zone differential over there. Like this past week,
Yes.
the game
That
started
would
at
be a huge
8:30.
problem.
The game started at 8:30
yeah.
this past week, but it was the first time they've ever done that. It's like the earliest start in NFL history. But usually they start at like about noon, like our time, but it's 6 o'clock over there across the ocean. So I don't know how it is, like how the London people feel about their sleep or anything, but I know that's not too much of a problem here, having a night game.
Well, you know, they did say if they were going to do this, that would probably be a 5 to 10 year project. So I don't think we need to worry about that right now.
Yeah, I didn't
but
really like
there
waking up
is
early
one
for that game,
team.
too.
There is one NFL team in particular who is completely out of sync right now. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. The Seattle Seahawks. What do you guys think that they need to do to bounce back? Is it too late?
When I saw the last few weeks, the only thing that came to my mind, first of all, is this book my teacher gave me by Bill Walsh, Hall of Fame coach for the 49ers. He said, best player, most important player for a franchise, quarterback. Second most important, the backup quarterback. Third most important are your D linemen to get to the quarterback. Basically, you need to have a good quarterback to have a good franchise. And this team they're having rumors about Russell Wilson's not black enough. He's too close to the corporate
They
guys.
won't give that man a break.
He's like, they won't give him a break, but at the same time, we haven't seen Russell Wilson or Pete Carroll even, or Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch. Nobody's came out to defend him. No one's publicly came out, I haven't heard it, to say, you know, he's my quarterback like we saw T.O. do a few years ago. No one's came out to have that moment to say, you know, this is our guy, we're riding with him. And I think that's kind of pointing true
What
to
do
the
you guys
problems.
think about the trade? They didn't make any trades. Was that a safe move?
I mean, they traded Harvin to the Jets. I think that was. I mean, I think it's good for them. Maybe like morally with like their people, like because they weren't getting along. But I think talent-wise, like who else is he gonna throw it to if 2 or 3 people aren't getting distracted by Percy Harvin, you know?
I'll say this about
this is
Seattle.
terrible.
They have 2 problems on the side of the ball. I mean, the offense is a problem, but the defense is probably the main concern in my opinion.
Definitely.
It's putting pressure on the quarterback. Right now they're averaging 172 yards passing. The defense is giving up 172 yards passing. And compared to last year, or they're giving up 238 yards passing this year compared to 172 last year. They're not getting pressure. The defensive line isn't putting pressure on the quarterback, so the quarterback has all the time in the world to find those receivers. Richard Sherman, he's covering the receivers pretty good, but he's not.
As well as he
the past 2 seasons, he's had 8 interceptions. Right now, he has 0.
Well,
so,
I mean there's still some time for them to get to get everything together. You know, it's not too late. But coming up next, we're talking NASCAR and the clash of the Titans, Peyton versus Brady. Excuse me. Stick with us.
Good luck to the Seahawks.
Welcome back to Sports Zone. Zach Seminar and Saad Youssef join me now to discuss the NASCAR standings. You know, guys, there's been a lot of wrecks lately, and now Dale Jr. earns first Martinsville win.
Well, I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, it's not that significant. But, I mean, Dale Jr. did say after that it was an emotional win for him. And so, I mean, it does mean something for him. It means a lot to him, but at the end, Jeff Gordon is still in the lead. He's still the top dog. So
yeah, as far as Dale Earnhardt Jr. is concerned, it doesn't really matter. Sure, it gives him confidence heading into next year. He made the chase, but in the grand scheme of things, it's all about these final 8 drivers here in the eliminator round. I mean, you look at a guy like Jeff Gordon, I think he has a good chance to advance out of the next round. And then there's a couple of guys that I look at towards the bottom of the standings, and one of them is Kevin Harvick. He finished 33rd. He struggled and actually was one of those wrecks that you talked about, Whitley, at Martinsville. And they don't call him the closer for nothing, Saad.
Right.
And he finished 42nd out of 43 drivers at Texas back in the spring. But next week is when you have to watch out for Kevin Harvick because he has won 3 of the last 5 races at Phoenix, and I think he, sitting in 8th out of the 8 drivers alive, has the best shot to go on to the next round.
So you're saying he's a threat, possibly, even though he did finish not last, but almost last.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, Newman's right there. He's right on Gordon's tail also. He's only down 3 points.
When you look at Ryan Newman, though, he struggles at Texas, and that's where they're going to be this week, just down the road, 15 miles up the road in Northlake. But when you look at Ryan Newman and you look at Kevin Harvick, both those guys are strong at Phoenix. So they need to kind of hold it together, you know, get a top 15 finish, and then hope to possibly win, especially in Kevin Harvick's scenario, to advance out of that final race at Homestead, Miami.
Right, yeah, I agree.
Do you guys have any predictions?
I think Gordon takes it.
Gordon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I really like Joey Logano. I think he's kind of like an underdog. I mean, he's won quite a few times already this season, and when you look at him, he's probably the hottest driver in NASCAR all around. So I like Joey Logano to squeak in there. But don't count out Brad Keselowski. He's a former champ.
Can't sleep on those. But I want to switch gears a little bit back to the turf. These 2 quarterbacks are, of course, legendary. But whose legacy is better, Peyton or Brady?
It's I don't want to say it's easy, but I got to go with Peyton Manning. I never used to be a Peyton Manning lover, but I always respected his game. I mean, we can talk about how they're playing right now, Saad, but
I think, okay, right now, I don't think it's much of a debate. I really think that Peyton Manning is playing lights out right now, but when we're talking legacy, we're talking about the career assessment.
Long term.
I'm going to go ahead and roll with Peyton Manning's former coach, who's now in the media, who is one of his biggest fans, Tony Dungy. He said 2 weeks ago, Tom Brady has a better career. Last year, Marshall Faulk at the Super Bowl said that as much as he loves what Peyton does, he's going to roll with Tom Brady. Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer, he said he's going to roll with Tom Brady. I mean, it's not about the Super Bowls. It's not about the stats. It's about the totality. It's about what they bring to the table. It's about Tom Brady making all these mediocre weapons look legit.
But did Peyton Manning not do that when he was with the Indianapolis Colts?
He did.
Austin Collie,
Right.
Pierre
Right.
Garçon.
He did do that, but also, where did that take him? Where did that end up with Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning doesn't produce end results. Peyton Manning
you just got done saying it's not about postseason. It's not about Super Bowls.
It is about postseason because, look, it's about the postseason. It's not about Super Bowl victories. But Peyton Manning is 8 times one and done in the playoffs. Tom Brady 8 times appeared in AFC Championship games. There's a big difference there. Then you look at the Super Bowls, you look at the killer instinct. Peyton Manning, the first Super Bowl that he lost, why did he lose that Super Bowl? Because of the pick six. Tom Brady, you look at his Super Bowls, you can say the helmet catch was to blame, you can say Wes Welker was to blame, but Tom Brady's never the main culprit. He doesn't choke in those situations.
If you're talking about the best quarterback, I got a list here and check marks at the certain player. I have Peyton Manning has a higher completion percentage. I have Peyton Manning with more total yards per season. I'm not finished here.
I'm not talking about stats, though. I'm not talking about the stats.
Well, guys, you know what's actually really interesting? Bill Belichick says that Manning doesn't have any weaknesses. This is the Patriots coach. He says he does not have any weaknesses.
We're nitpicking between two of the greatest of all time. That's what we're doing. But what I'm saying is when you look at the grand scheme of things in the legacy, Tom Brady has the most playoff wins of any quarterback in NFL history.
And he also has more Super Bowl championships.
But he has more playoff wins, which means he's came up bigger. Tom Brady has that. Peyton Manning has the most playoff losses in Super Bowl history for quarterbacks. Tom Brady has never been embarrassed the way that Peyton Manning has in the Super Bowl. 41-0 in 2002 against the Jets in the playoffs, one and done.
You can throw things like that, and you can throw scores about one in particular game, two in particular games. But let's talk about Peyton Manning. There's not a better quarterback in NFL history at the line of scrimmage, reading defenses, changing plays. Does Tom Brady do that?
Did I deny that? I didn't deny that. I did not deny that he doesn't change plays the way Peyton Manning. I'm not saying that. Peyton Manning is remarkable. He's great at the line of scrimmage. He does a lot of things that Tom doesn't do. But Tom Brady produces results at the end of the day. And when it counts most, Tom Brady is there. Head to head, Tom Brady leads 10-5.
Oh, man.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, I gotta stop you. It's getting heated up here, guys.
I'm just saying.
Manning did win the last one, though.
He did,
Manning won the last one when
After
Tom
the
Brady
break,
was depleted.
we have Robert Carra and Brady. We'll be diving into the Mavs and the Cowboys. We'll be right back on SportsZone. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to the second half of our show about sports. I'm your host, Rob C., and I'd like to introduce my guests, Kara, not related to Keith Bullock, and Brady, get to your pointer. Welcome to the zone, guys.
Hey.
Hey. The Mavericks kicked off their season on Tuesday with a tight loss to the defending champion Spurs. Now, both teams look solid, as did the Pelicans and the Rockets. And as we all know, Memphis is a force. How many teams can we expect to win 50 wins out of this division?
I'm going to go ahead and say two. I'm going to go ahead and say the Spurs and the Mavericks. The top two teams out of that division. The Mavericks, they got Parsons, they got Tyson Chandler. They have the weapons to get to 50 wins. They were only one win away from 50 last year. They got 49. So and then they added to a already good team. So they have the shot to get to 50. They don't get to 50, it's a disappointment. The Spurs, of course, are going to get to 50. They're going to coast to the playoffs. That's a given. But as far as Memphis, they have a really good defense. They're going to be a force to reckon with in the Western Conference because of the offensive prowess that is the top teams in the West. They're going to be able to slow down and make the teams that are good in offense, like the Thunder, the Clippers, the Mavericks, Spurs, play at a slower pace, which they're not used to. But I don't think the Grizzlies have the offensive power to get to 50 wins. And if Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph can stay healthy. If they get hurt, there's no way they get to 50.
Yeah, well, I'm going to agree with you with the Mavs and the Spurs, but I'm going to add the Grizzlies to that. And I'm going to take away specifically the Pelicans and Houston.
I don't think the Pelicans are ready quite yet. Another couple years.
I mean, Anthony.
What makes you take Houston out of the equation?
I feel like Houston's not going to make it because their defense is so weak. Their defense is so weak. I mean, James Harden is one of their key guys.
He's a ghost on defense.
Yeah, and it's like he doesn't know how to cross the half court. It's like why you are such a good player. Why aren't you being able to play defense?
It's basically 5-on-4 when they're on defense.
Yeah,
you can't be that weak on the perimeter.
Yeah, and then you have Dwight Howard, who I feel like his talent is just being wasted. He's like not doing anything. I mean, we know he's a good player.
Yeah.
But it's just like he's just not getting it. But
yeah, his immaturity level has obviously been shown to be a bit of an issue, especially with the Lakers. It's such a serious team like the Lakers.
Yeah,
you got to be serious to get through. One of the longest playoffs in all of sports is the basketball playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a long time, and sometimes you got to worry about the mental fortitude of that guy. On Monday night, the Redskins took on the Cowboys, and it wasn't the prettiest display of Cowboys football we've ever seen. 6 sacks by the Washington D. Colt McCoy's efficiency. What keyed the victory?
Well, first of all, I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to bring this out for you guys
Standing.
because I feel like this needs to be here right now, especially
Okay, let's see who it is.
especially for this
This
guy.
irrelevant name right here.
Oh, it's not irrelevant.
Look at this.
It's still a
completely
Redskins
He will not come
jersey.
back and be the same person he was.
Okay.
That's completely irrelevant.
It's
What
relevant.
keyed the win? I don't care about the jersey. What keyed the win?
You know,
on my table right now.
it's gonna be I'm gonna go with the defense that keyed. You're not gonna. I paid too much money for this.
Fine. Put it over here. Just talk about sports, please.
You know, I think the really thing that keyed the win was defense because Brashad Breeland was on Dez like white on rice. I mean, there's a couple times, and
I said 2 drops.
well, yeah, right in the end zone.
Self-infliction there.
And you know what? People are saying that Colt McCoy isn't a factor in this. He's
Yeah,
a big factor.
He's done well.
But
I'm not
he played.
I'm not gonna deny the fact that he's done.
He's a
he
quarterback.
done
I mean, so
pretty
he has to do some things for a win. I mean, he got that. I think it was like a 7-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the beginning of the game, he made mistakes. He made obvious mistakes. But
So did
you know, he looked like he was going
everybody.
to throw
This
up.
This game was the sloppiest game so far by the Cowboys easily.
But here's the
What
thing.
got me was just where it was our defense. On that final drive, I mean, our defense had been playing well all season, better than anyone had.
Here's the
projected
thing,
them to be.
because
They just, Colt
Because
McCoy,
they came into the game
Colt
thinking that
McCoy,
it was going
quarterback.
to be a win. They
No.
came into the game thinking that it was going to win because
Okay.
because the Redskins came in 2-5.
This was
they
the
were
Reds-
the underdogs.
This was the Redskins Super Bowl.
This was the
Reds-
Cowboys
The
game
Cowboys
to
are
win.
taking anything for granted.
The Cowboys-
the Redskins on defense, they came in and beat us. They had a running game that was working, and they had a quarterback that went 25 to 30. They beat the Cowboys. I don't know if they're taking anything for granted. They just played a spectacular game.
Romo didn't do well.
Does RG3 have pressure put on him after
definitely.
Colt McCoy's
I mean,
performance?
okay, RG3 has been a liability since the end of his first season, the beginning of the second season, when he just can't stay healthy. Is he going to be able to come back? He'll come back, but is he going to be able to produce? Is he going to be able to do better than Colt McCoy's been doing now?
I don't
know if Kirk Cousins is even in the picture anymore. Honestly, is he in the picture?
I doubt it.
I don't think he is.
I think that I don't think there's any pressure on Robert Griffin.
There's tons of pressure.
I don't feel like it because
if McCoy's playing like crap,
look,
then
Robert
there's no
Griffin is their
pressure.
quarterback, regardless
We'll see.
of how he
How have
plays.
they done with Robert Griffin in the game?
Look,
Exactly.
he is their quarterback regardless.
How many wins under Colt McCoy, and how much efficiency can we? How many wins under Colt McCoy until Robert Griffin has to worry?
I think until I
I'd
honestly
be
don't think he
worried-
has
I'd
to
be
worry.
worried this
win.
He's not. Robert Griffin's not going to lose his job to Colt McCoy. He's the franchise. He's going to be the franchise quarterback if he isn't already.
He can't be a franchise quarterback if he's hurt every game.
We will see.
He's going to be the
about
quarterback.
that. We
No,
have
he's
many
not.
weeks to
Yes, he
come.
is.
One game doesn't really tell us too much, but when we come back, we're going to have our top finalists, and we're going to talk about the money game that is the NCAA and whether they should be paying their athletes. See you after the break.
Go Redskins.
Whatever.
Welcome back to the final segment. We have the analysts that talked the goodest so far, and we're going to talk about a little bit of NCAA spending. A circuit court judge in Oakland, California ruled against the NCAA. A man named Ed O'Banion sued them for using his likeness in a video game, and he won, which is setting the stage for paying athletes for their services on and off the field. Is this the right call? Zach?
I personally think that players should get some compensation for playing. It's a mess when you try to figure out who, what, where, when, why. But I think we're leaning towards the time when we're going to have to pay these players, because you look at the Dukes, the North Carolinas, Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel, Todd Gurley are running into these instances where players need or want more money, and they're not worried about it because they're looking out of the NFL. And that's going to hurt college football and college athletics in the long haul if you don't have Todd Gurley, if you don't have Johnny Manziel, these key players. So they're going to have to give them some compensation or not worry about them signing autographs and those types of things. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting on the sidelines. Todd Gurley just announced 2 more games suspended by the NCAAs.
Tori?
I kind of agree with him for a different reason. At the end of the day, we're forgetting that, every day we see Jameis Winston's face on ESPN. We saw Manziel last year. At the end of the day, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old college kids with no money. They just got D1 scholarships to some school that's probably across the country from their house. They probably don't have a car. A lot of these players, they just gave them free food last year. A lot of them have free meal plans now because a lot of the coaches were getting in trouble for giving players money after the games. Like, hey, go buy some hot wings at Wingstop, and they would get in trouble for
you
that.
earned a trip to Sonic, like
Yeah,
you just
so it's
like
you give them
won
the
a
free
soccer
food.
game when you're 5 years
Yeah.
old. It's the same compensation.
Yeah, so it's like, where are we gonna stop? Like, now they need cars, so are we gonna give them cars? Like, or after they need cars, like now they need this. Like, we have to give them something. Like, you can't just starve them. They're athletes.
Carrie, do you agree with the notion of the material, maybe not paying them, but giving them material so they can at least?
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I think because it's already hard as a college student. Period. I mean, we're already broke as it is. I mean, are we not?
We're in debt up to our eyeballs.
Exactly. So when you have, and some of
Student
us have part-time jobs. I mean, maybe not all of us, but student athletes, the only thing they're doing
have time for a
is
job.
yeah, exactly.
That
The
is their
only
job.
thing they're doing is playing, practicing,
And hopefully going to class.
Yes, hopefully. So I think I'm definitely okay with it, especially when you have guys like Johnny Manziel. He pretty much made a name for Texas A&M. I mean, not
hundreds of millions of dollars.
not taking away anything from Texas A&M, saying that they're not, they can't have a name for themselves, but he put them on the map. And they're selling jerseys with his name on it. So why is he not getting any compensation from that?
Yeah, he certainly
That's
set
his
the
name.
foundation,
If someone was selling my name
Well, a lot of
out
these,
there,
a lot
I'd
of
just
these
be like,
schools
hey.
aren't, a lot of these schools aren't selling jerseys with their names on it per se.
the
but
numbers,
Well, the
yeah.
it's their
number is on
numbers.
it.
It's their numbers, it's their abilities in the
Yeah.
video games. I mean, we can't sit around and act like NCAA football. I used to play that religiously on Saturday mornings, and that's billions of dollars right there.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah.
And that's not including ticket sales, not including jersey sales, not including the years of jersey sales to come after their Johnny Manziel leaves.
Baylor made a
Exactly.
statue for RG3 of all the extra money they had that he made for them. Like,
Yeah.
they just splashed
They
money
thought
around.
about
Give them something.
They thought about
Yeah.
renaming Kyle Field the house that Johnny built.
Yeah, because he did build
Because
it.
he
He built a new house.
I mean, Kyle Field had a good prestige. I'm glad they never did that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of the best fields in college football. The detractors like to say that they shouldn't be paid because it should be their passion, which kind of sounds like what my father would say when he's yelling at me from the sideline, like I'm supposed to care as much as he did or something like that. And when that does that make sense to you guys?
Not
Is
at
it just a
all.
silly
the
notion?
guys
Is
saying
it as
that
silly as I
they're
think?
the ones deciding not to pay these players. Like, you're doing your
Exactly.
passion. What do you mean not get paid for your passion? Maybe
Yeah.
some of these coaches shouldn't be getting paid.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the
Yeah.
same thing.
We'll see what happens then.
Yeah, exactly. And they also believe that the idea of it becoming like a minor league system, they're worried of it becoming some kind of professional system. And does that hold any water? Does that even make sense to anybody?
I don't think so, because it kind of brings it back to Zach's point, of saying it gets messy whenever you're trying to debate who gets the money,
Most money,
the most
yeah.
money, what player, I don't think that holds any weight, honestly, to say that it's going to be a.
In a sense, college athletics is really like a minor league system, because when you look at Major League Baseball, they have the single A, double A, triple A. When you look at the NBA, they have the D League. When you look at the hockey, they have their minor league. Football doesn't have that, so it really is kind of like a minor league. It's still college, it's still collegiate athletics, but that collegiate athletics and football is as close as you can get, folks, to the minor leagues of football.
Now, I understand the
Sure.
aspects of fairness, paying, Todd Gurley being a millionaire in college just doesn't seem right to me.
He doesn't
'Cause
care
he's a
about
kid.
he doesn't care about college football, because he knows that his draft stock is not going to be affected if he goes and signs a few autographs for money that he feels that he needs or wants right now.
One thing we're forgetting that these are all football players. Think about the volleyball, the golf players.
Yeah, it doesn't end there. That's-
Your daughter who swims for USC is not going to be getting the same as Todd Gurley. So
It might-
that's where kind of.
The solution
Yeah.
might be in what you buy in the facilities, which they're always revamping facilities, but maybe they should revamp the living facilities. You talked about transportation, those type of amenities, which sometimes can be lacking, which is shocking. Well, it's a very interesting topic, and we'll see how it folds out. 2016 is when all this stuff is supposed to take an effect. We will see you next week. I want to thank my analysts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back at you, Zach. We will see you next week. This is Sports Zone. Oh, and follow us on Twitter. Hashtag at ntTV. Hashtag Sports Zone.
You just joined Twitter?
I did not join Twitter, but Sports Zone did.
I understand.